On August 18, 2025, global trade was rocked by a surprise announcement from President Donald Trump, a sweeping new tariff targeting India's polished diamond industry. The move sent shockwaves from Surat's workshops to New York's luxury retailers, signaling a challenge to the established order of global supply chains. This wasn't just about economics. It was a political statement, disrupting a multi-billion-dollar industry and putting international relations on edge. The administration justified the tariff as a measure to protect American jobs and address alleged unfair trade practices, despite the U.S. having little domestic diamond polishing. For India, the world's diamond polishing hub, the tariff felt like a direct economic assault, threatening a system built on decades of specialized labor and global logistics. Major trading nations like Belgium, the UAE, and Israel scrambled to assess the fallout, as the intricate diamond pipeline was abruptly disrupted. The sudden trade barrier forced everyone, from Gujarat's artisans to Chicago's retailers, to rethink strategies in a volatile new world. While India and the US clashed publicly, other countries quietly maneuvered for advantage, with Canada's diamond industry making strategic moves behind the scenes. The diamond tariff became a symbol of how domestic policy can send global tremors, forcing the world to adapt to a new, unpredictable rhythm. In this new era, economic policy is wielded as a tool of diplomacy and power, reshaping the global landscape overnight. The Trump administration's tariff imposed a steep 25% tax on all cut and polished diamonds imported from India, a direct blow to the heart of the global supply chain. Officially, the White House cited unfair Indian subsidies and vague national security concerns, but many saw it as classic protectionism. India polishes 90% of the world's diamonds by volume, while the US is the largest consumer market, making their mutual dependence a new battleground. The tariff applies to any diamond processed in India regardless of where it was mined, isolating India as the primary target. This policy tells the global market find new polishing centers or pay the price, directly challenging India's dominance. The timing, amid global economic fragility, signaled America's willingness to disrupt international stability for domestic priorities. Allies were left uneasy, seeing a pattern of unilateral US actions that sidestep established trade norms. The Diamond Decree is more than a tax. It's a symbol of a confrontational, unpredictable approach to global trade. Retailers, suppliers, and governments worldwide were forced to reconsider their roles in a rapidly shifting landscape. The move weaponized economic interdependence, turning a stable trade relationship into a point of conflict. The world now faced a new reality: trade policy as a tool for political leverage. The diamond industry, once a model of global cooperation, was suddenly at the center of a geopolitical storm. In Surat, the heart of India's diamond industry, the tariff's impact was immediate and severe. Workshops slowed, orders halted, and the city's economic engine grew quiet as uncertainty spread. The diamond trade supports not just factory workers but an entire ecosystem: logistics, suppliers, and small businesses, all now at risk. Small and medium enterprises lacking deep reserves faced layoffs and closures, threatening the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands. Skilled artisans, many lifelong diamond cutters, suddenly faced unemployment with few alternatives. The ripple effect extended across India, as migrant workers lost wages, threatened families in distant villages. The Indian government condemned the tariff, vowing to challenge it at the WTO and announcing relief measures for Surat. Yet, without access to the US market, government support could only go so far. The industry's business model was built on American demand. Its sudden loss exposed deep vulnerabilities. The crisis forced India to confront its dependence on a single market and consider long-term strategies for resilience. The human cost was measured in lost jobs, mounting debts, and shattered dreams. For Surat, the future was uncertain, and the search for solutions had only just begun. The diamond industry's fate now hinged on diplomacy, adaptation, and the ability to weather a global storm. In the US, jewelers faced a stark choice: absorb the 25% tariff or pass costs to consumers, risking lost sales. Retailers scrambled to secure pre-tariff inventory, but supplies would soon run out, forcing price hikes on engagement rings and other jewelry. The holiday season loomed with anxiety, as higher prices threatened to push buyers toward smaller stones or alternatives like lab-grown diamonds. Brick-and-mortar stores, already under pressure, faced new disadvantages as online and lab-grown competitors gained ground. The tariff, meant to protect American interests, risked accelerating a shift away from natural diamonds and hurting small businesses. Industry groups urged the administration to reconsider, arguing the policy harmed US retailers and workers more than it helped. The interconnected nature of global trade meant a policy aimed at India reverberated through every link in the supply chain. American jewelers found themselves caught in a trade war, struggling to adapt to a new reality they never asked for. The U.S. tariff on Indian diamonds sent shockwaves through the global supply chain, disrupting a system that had run smoothly for decades. Rough diamonds, once routinely sent to India for polishing, now needed new routes to reach American consumers without the tariff. Trading hubs like Antwerp and Dubai scrambled to redirect flows, while countries like Israel, Thailand, and Vietnam saw sudden interest in expanding their polishing industries. None could match India's scale overnight, but the race was on to fill the gap. Mining nations worried about falling demand and prices as the pipeline bottlenecked. The disruption sparked new competition and investment in alternative polishing centers. The industry faced a future of fragmentation, with multiple regional hubs replacing India's dominance. A two-tiered market emerged, one for US-bound diamonds polished outside India, another for the rest of the world. The tariff's legacy was clear: geopolitics had permanently reshaped the diamond trade. While the US and India clashed, Canada quietly seized the opportunity. As a major producer of ethical rough diamonds, Canada promoted a mine-to-market supply chain that bypassed India. Canadian firms explored partnerships with polishers in Israel and Belgium, and even considered expanding domestic polishing despite higher costs. The Canada Mark brand, now promising both ethical sourcing and tariff-free status, became a powerful selling point for US retailers. The 25% tariff helped level the playing field, making Canadian polished diamonds more competitive in the US market. Building a large-scale polishing industry was a challenge, but the incentive was clear. Canada's strategy was subtle economic diplomacy, avoiding confrontation while positioning itself to benefit from the US-India dispute. The country's reputation for stability and ethical sourcing gave it an edge in a shifting market. Whether this gamble would pay off remained to be seen, but Canada had staked its claim in the new diamond order. The true impact of the tariff is best understood through the voices of those affected. In Surat, diamond cutter Ramesh Patel laments, "For 30 years I've done this work. Now, with no orders from America, I don't know how I'll feed my family." His story echoes across the city's silent workshops. In New York, jeweler Sarah Jensen says, "My profit margins are thin. If I raise prices, customers walk away. This policy hurts small businesses and young couples alike." A Canadian mining executive notes, "We don't want a trade war, but we must adapt. The US tariff distorts the market, so we're seeking new polishing partners." An Indian government official declares, "This is a violation of trade law and a direct attack on our industry. We'll fight through diplomatic and legal channels." India is also preparing support for affected workers and seeking new markets for its diamonds. Across the industry, frustration, adaptation, and resilience define the response. The tariff has forced everyone, from artisans to executives, to rethink their future. The global diamond trade, once stable, is now a landscape of uncertainty and change. Stakeholders are united by a common challenge: surviving and adapting to a new world order. The crisis has exposed vulnerabilities but also sparked innovation and determination. The diamond industry's next chapter will be written by those who can adapt and endure. Resolving the diamond dispute requires delicate diplomacy and creative negotiation. India's immediate priority is direct talks with the US, emphasizing the damage to both economies and the value of their strategic partnership. Simultaneously, India is preparing a WTO challenge, though the process is slow and uncertain. Industry groups on both sides are lobbying for compromise, highlighting the economic harm and proposing trade-offs in other sectors. Possible solutions include trade concessions or a joint commission to investigate subsidy claims, offering a face-saving way to de-escalate. Ultimately, the tariff is a symptom of a larger trend toward protectionism and economic nationalism. A lasting solution will require renewed commitment to free and fair trade principles. Until then, the diamond industry and global commerce remains vulnerable to geopolitical crossfire. The US tariff plunged the diamond industry into crisis, but pressure can also spark transformation. India, long reliant on the US market, is now seeking new buyers in Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, and investing in its own jewelry brands. The crisis accelerates the rise of lab-grown diamonds, offering consumers a tariff-free, affordable alternative. The industry faces a future of fragmentation, with multiple polishing centers and complex supply chains. Traceability, branding, and political stability are now as crucial as the 4 Cs. The shock of the tariff forces adaptation and innovation across the industry. Those who show resilience and foresight will emerge stronger. The diamond world is being reshaped by this crisis, reflecting a new era of global trade.